Today we're talking about the Mixland Steamdriver channel strip plugin. So this plugin is very unique and very cool. So you guys are going to see what I'm talking about when you actually see the user interface for it. So if you want to know what the Steamdriver is all about, stick around after this introduction.
Legend softly.
Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is a channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we are talking about the Mixland Steamdriver channel strip plugin. So as you can see by the picture popping up right now, this is a pretty cool looking plugin. It's got a cool user interface. Now, as you can also see, there is no text in this plugin. So yes, it is a little confusing to use, but I am going to teach you how to use this plugin. That is the first thing we're going to do in this video. I'm also going to let you hear what all the parameters sound like on a drum mix. And then lastly, I'm going to let you hear what this plugin sounds like in an overall mix that I did. So it's actually being used on several instruments, which we'll discuss later in the video. So before we get to all that, I do want to mention to check out audiosorcerer.com and check out all the different services that I have to offer. So I have things from audio mixing to audio mastering, I have audio editing, and I also do one-on-one remote teaching if you want to learn how to use pretty much any DAW, or if you want to do some mixing and mastering lessons. I have, something for everybody. There's also a blog on there too if you want to get some more information on mixing and mastering or music production stuff that I don't give away on my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that for free. And also, if you guys end up liking this plugin, there's a link below in the description where you can get the introductory pricing. It's $14.99. That is a extra value meal pretty much at Wendy's these days. So even if you end up hating this plugin, you can't go wrong. It's only $14.99. So now that that's all out of the way, let's get into today's topic in this video further, and let's look at the user interface of the Mixland Steamdriver channel strip plugin. Alright, so here we are in Pro Tools and I have the Mixland Steamdriver plugin open here. So as you can see, it is pretty darn cool looking here, but as you can also see, there is not any text in it here, so it is probably a little confusing and overwhelming when you first look at it, but I'm going to help you understand it here. So starting in the top left where we actually have text, you have your in and output levels right here. You have this little tooltip section here. So as you actually hover over stuff in here, you're going to see little tips pop up here on what the controls actually are. So you're going to need to utilize this. Over here, we have our oversampling section here. You can go up to 8x in here. You can actually zoom in here. This actually zooms in on the bottom section here because you have a couple different controls down here. You can turn on animation, and this actually does some pretty cool stuff here. You got some smoke coming out, and you got a blimp coming from the background. I'm assuming that's probably going to be pretty CPU intensive, so I would recommend probably leaving that off, even though it's pretty cool. So I'm going to turn that off. You could do an A/B here, which is pretty common on many plugins. And then you can undo and redo all of your selections here. And then lastly, you can make this plugin small, medium, or large in size. So that is the top bar section of this plugin. So let's actually move into the bread and butter of this plugin. So in this main control section here, you have to kind of hover over different things in the picture to figure out whether they are a control or not. So since I actually know where the controls are, I will show you them. We're going to start with the EQ stuff first. So this one right here, where my mouse is at, is the low boost, which is essentially just a low shelf. And then over here, this is the high boost, which is a high shelf. Now, I don't know what specific frequencies these are. It doesn't really tell you. So you got to kind of use your ear. And then down here, this knob right here is a tone shape, which is more revolving around the mid frequencies, okay? So those are all the controls you have regarding EQ. So it's pretty broken down, nothing really fancy, okay? So going over to the left here, this stack, if you want to call it, is your compressor, all right? So up here, this is actually your mix knob, so you can use it as a parallel compressor if you want. And then going down to here, this is your threshold knob here. So this is going to help you dictate how much compression you're actually getting. And then down here, this is your attack. And then this is your release. So I'm guessing that the default setting for the attack is a fast attack. And then if we click it to this position here, this is probably a slow attack. At least in my testing, I think that's what it is. And then the same for a release. This is a fast release, and then this would be a slow release, okay? Now, these little lights here, I don't really know, but I'm guessing that these are probably dictating how many dBs of gain reduction you're getting. So I'm just going to go with my assumption and say that, this is 1 dB, this is 2 dB, this is 3, and this is 4. I don't have any proof, but that is my assumption, okay? So that is your compressor section there. Now, going over to this stack here, this is your saturation, okay? This is like your console saturation, because again, this is a channel strip plugin. So up here at the top, this is our mix knob again. We can use this as parallel saturation. And then going down to this knob here, this is our saturation amount, how much we actually want. And then going down to here, we have a choice between even and odd saturation. So your even saturation is going to be like your tube saturation, and then your odd is going to be tape saturation, okay? And then we have a flavor over here for it, basically your coloration of the saturation. And, you just got to kind of, go between the bottom and top setting and dial it in to see what you like. There's not really a specification on what it actually does in here, but it's just two different flavors essentially, okay? So those are the main settings in here. So you get your compressor, you get your console saturation, you get a basic kind of EQ or tonal shaping. So it's pretty good for a channel strip, all right? And it's got a good overall sound, which we're going to listen to here in a second, okay? So let's actually try out all these controls on an overall drum bus mix, all right? So let's do that now. Alright, so you got to hear the Steamdriver in action on a drum mix, but I want you to hear it in a real-world scenario. So I actually started working on a mix here. I'm still kind of picking at it. It's actually a song I pulled out of the archives. It's a song called Absent by a band called In Your Memory. So I end up using the Steamdriver on kick, on snare, and on piano. So the piano's not actually playing at the portion of the song I'm going to play for you, so just kind of ignore that. But what I want you to listen for is the kick and snare. So listen to the overall tonal shaping of them, how they sit in the mix, and just kind of their overall attitude, because that was all achieved using the Steamdriver plugin. All right, so with that being said, let's actually give it a listen. All right, so that was my review slash tutorial on the Mixland Steamdriver channel strip plugin. So my overall thoughts, I think this is a really cool plugin. I think kind of where it's lacking would be with the EQ. So basically we only have the low shelf, high shelf, and then we have some sort of mid tonal shaping. I would have liked to have seen some more ways to modify the EQ. I noticed that when I did use this, I did have to reach for maybe a secondary EQ just to kind of shape the sound just a little bit more. So that is kind of where I think it's lacking. I think that the compression in it is fantastic, and that I think is stemmed probably from the rubber band compressor, which is a fantastic compressor. I actually have a video popping up for that now if you want to see my review on it. It's actually the first rev of it, but still, if you want to get an idea of what you could see with that compressor, check out that video. And then also the saturation in it's great, and I love the fact that you get some tube saturation or tape saturation. So it kind of reminds me of Heat built in the Pro Tools. So this can kind of take the place of it, except that you actually get more parameters to modify with this as opposed to Heat, okay? So overall, I really like this plugin here. Again, the cons are that I think the EQ can give us some more options, but the pros are, I think, definitely outweighing the cons with the great compression in it and definitely great saturation options for it, all right? So if you guys end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so I'm making this content for you and hit that notification bell to know when new videos coming out. And if you guys enjoyed this content, definitely check out my review on the Mixland Tilt. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later and peace out.